What's up, y'all? This is Raafiq with the first installment of Raafiq's Reflections. Today we're going to be talking about hip-hop. The business of hip-hop, the characters in the hip-hop community, etc., etc. One thing that's strange about the hip-hop world or community, especially in my location of Indiana, East Central Indiana, is that in this region there's a divide between the gangster rap community, and I hate to even call this that because, you know, hip-hop's hip-hop, you know, there's different variations, but there tends to be a divide between the gangster rap community and the quote-unquote real hip-hop or elemental hip-hop community. The quote-unquote gangster rap community seems to be more driven by sex, drugs, and violence in their content, driven by the pursuit of money, the whole swag showboat mentality. I'm better than you. Here's 10 reasons why. I have more money than you. I have more female companions than you, and various other things of that nature. More materialistic subject matter and situations. But when it comes to the real hip-hop community, quote-unquote real hip-hop community, it's more driven by the concept of art, the elements of hip-hop, DJing, MCing, graffiti, etc., etc. And there seems to be not so much a clash on the level of fighting or diss tracks, or these people openly being aggressive, or these groups of people being openly aggressive towards one another. It's more so a kind of like an unspoken thing where it's like, oh, you know, well, they do that kind of music and we do this kind of music, so, you know. My perception of the whole thing is I come from a school of thought where I once upon a time was a hip-hop purist. A lot of people don't realize or understand that I came up listening to, you know, I'm from the Midwest. I came up listening to, you know, West Coast groups. Some of my first groups that I actually listened to on a regular basis and purchased their music were from the West, such as the D.O.C., Eazy-E, artists like that. The D.O.C. at one point in time was my favorite MC. I used to call his 900 number. That's how I found out when he got injured. He got into a car crash and had that situation with his throat, messed his throat up to where he, you know, like he's on the that skit on the Chronic, the $20 sack pyramid, when his voice is all, hey baby, you know. I mean, he used to call himself the kid with the golden voice, you know, so I respected him as one of the best, you know. And you know, a lot of people since the Biggie Tupac situation, a lot of people hold that as like the I mean, it is an important movement in hip-hop. I mean, important moment in hip-hop, the Biggie Tupac situation. For those that don't know, Tupac being killed and then Biggie being killed within a short amount of time of one another, both being up and coming. Well, not up and coming, they actually were platinum hip-hop stars. But this was kind of used by the media. If you're a conspiracy theorist, so be it. It was either on purpose or inadvertently used by the media to blow up some kind of conflict within the hip-hop world as East Coast, West Coast, you know. And East Coast music to me has always been more of a see how I can put this delicately. Basically, the source of conscious hip hop. It's where hip hop started. So, and it could also be called the, you know, the source of gangster rap, because that's where hip hop started. It started in the hood, in the ghettos of New York City. And a lot of the artists across the country, when they first came out, you know, they would say, yo, word, yo, son, you know, and all that. Because, and you know, the big gold chains, because they were emulating something that came from New York. As time went by, the Midwest and the West and the South came into their own and basically grew into their own character, so to speak. But I'm one of those guys that when I was coming up into hip hop, the world of hip hop, I had to deal with being from the Midwest. Even before Tupac and Biggie died, there was a undercurrent of, oh, y'all on that East Coast, y'all sound the East Coast, you know, because it would be a thing where if we were striving, me and my cohorts at the time, my compadres, if we were striving to come up with something that was deep, not necessarily deep, but something that was slick, we were trying to say something that hadn't been said before. So our main concern was the words. It wasn't like a get on situation, a put on situation. Oh, we're trying to get rich. Let's get out here and make money. Not to say that wasn't on our mind at all, but the thing was, we were interested in achieving success by proving that we were good at what we did. Not basically saying I'm the best because I got the most girls, I got the most money, I got more cars than you have. I'm out here grinding. I've been locked up more times than you have. I've been in more fights than you have. You know, that wasn't our thing. Our thing was, are we going to get on the microphone and say something that hasn't been said before, make somebody be like, wow, how did you think of that? Like, what's that? You know, get on the mic and say something, you know, dynamic and new and something that somebody hasn't said before, ever. So we kind of caught flack for being ourselves, so to speak, and accused of being East Coast, because that's the only ruler by which certain individuals had to compare us. So where I live, back to my topic at hand, where I live, that mentality still exists, you know, especially after, you know, the whole Tupac Biggie thing. Rest in peace, Tupac and Biggie. Two great talents and that left too soon. Tortured souls. As far as, you know, Tupac himself was, you know, a conscious rapper. A lot of people don't know Tupac was a conscious rapper. So, you know, a lot of people that don't know any better adhere to the gangster side of Tupac. Oh man, he's gangster. He's hard. He's the hardest. But at heart, he was a conscious rapper. He was, you know, the son of a Black Panther, you know, of Black Panthers. He's part of the movement. I mean, he knew about the struggle, the civil rights movement, and being a revolutionary, all of that. You know, he was an educated guy. But a lot of the artists, promoters, etc., you know, these days are striving to achieve some form of success. And are basically willing to do anything it takes to achieve that success. And that means, you know, back in the days we had a thing of selling out. To us, it was selling out wasn't mean like, oh, you're talking about money. No, you can talk about money. I don't have a problem with rappers that rap about money. AZ, for example, not Jay-Z, AZ. For those that don't know, he's part of the firm with Nas. To me, one of the greats, and he raps about material items all the time, but he has knowledge of self. When you have knowledge of self, you realize the struggle that you exist in, the scheme and the situation that you were born into, and you realize that it's not always best to uplift yourself and others by bragging, because that causes jealousy. You know, it's different if you're humble and you shine as a humble individual. If you're righteous and you shine and you're humble, you shine because, you know, you achieve things, and when you achieve things, you know, you give off a glow of success, or the ability of intelligence is another thing that makes people shine, and that causes jealousy. You know, a lot of times the ignorant are jealous of the intelligent. You know, for every ignorant person that wants to learn, there are two ignorant people that could care less. That's why a phrase I use is beware of those that are ignorant on purpose, because this is the information age, and it's real easy to educate yourself. And I don't mean YouTube videos, I mean really educating yourself. But yeah, so some promoters and some artists have a mentality of, just like the major record labels, it kind of trickled down into the mainstream. The mentality of, this is what people want. People don't want to hear lyrics and MCing and talk about metaphors and scientific space. They don't want to hear about space age, scientific, metaphorical. That's what you always hear. And the thing is, 9 times out of 10, that's because artists want to kind of like put you in a box so they can make themselves seem equal to you or better than you, when really, there's a lot of cats out there that couldn't wrap their way out of a fucking paper bag. Pardon my French, excuse my French, but they put words together. I mean, we're human beings. That's part of being a human, is being able to a poet. That's in our genetics. We play with words. Mother Goose rhymes. We learn when we're young, but when you get older, it's like the older you get, the more you have to talk about, and hopefully the more depth and the more perception you have of situations around you. You're gonna perceive things differently as you get older. So therefore, it's gonna be like fine wine. You're gonna age well. If you continually educate yourself, continually feeding your mind, and don't remain stagnant, then this is regardless of coast or whatever. There are ignorant people on the West Coast, the East Coast, down South. There are smart, intelligent people on the East Coast, the West Coast, down South. There are different types of levels of intelligence all over the nation, And the fact of the matter is that, a lot of intelligent people squander their talent or their intelligence. And there are I wouldn't say a lot, but there are some ignorant people out there that just have a lot of drive and a lot of push, and the right people on their team, and they're able to succeed. And I can't really judge the next man unless I know him. I'm just going by the content. I say ignorant content of music versus intelligent content of music. And I will say that history has proven that sometimes, or most of the time, ignorant content does win when it comes to success, in terms of major success. Now, with that being said, before everybody waves their pom-poms, yeah, I told you, that's not what they want to hear. If you play what they want to hear, you'd be successful. If you grandiose motherfuckers would play what the people want, then you would see success. Okay? Well, not every, it's like a classroom. In a classroom, you have the jocks, you have the nerds, you have the, girls might be cheerleaders. They might be, there might be guys that are, have bad reputations, good reputations. Same with girls, There might be a kid that just stays to himself, doesn't want to be bothered. It's the same way in any cipher of life, in any scheme of things. If you take a slice of America, or any section of America, in hip-hop, you have subgenres of hip-hop. You have militant hip-hop, you have party hip-hop, you have gangster hip-hop, you have what they call nerd hop or nerdcore, you have conscious rap, and all these, these are good and bad. It's a double-edged sword, because they're good for marketing purposes if the labels would recognize that, because that would make it easier for people that are in these subgenres to make money, because the audience would be able to say, okay, here's what I'm looking for, and I can find it. That way you can categorize yourself with artists like yourself, and it's easier for you to sell your music. In hip-hop, the thing with the major labels is that they all categorize, whether you're Brother Ali or Lil Wayne or Uncle Luke, it's hip-hop and R&B or rap. And it's, to me, that's not that. There's, within hip hop itself, there are artists that are like night and day. You know, A$AP Rock and A$AP Rocky. You know, I mean, there are artists that are different within hip hop itself. But that's the good thing about it. The bad thing about classifying all these subgenres is the separatist point of view that's born out of this, and that's what I was talking about earlier. The separatist point of view is that, you know, those guys are doing gangster rap, and it's not really East Coast, West Coast anymore. It's those guys are doing gangster rap, and we're doing that real hip hop. We're about lyrics. We're taking it back to the essence. We're doing this for the love. This is that real rhymes and beats. We're taking it back, you know, the boom bap. We're doing this. And, you know, the thing is that a lot of these people fail to realize that hip hop itself came from the grime and the gutter of society. You know, hip hop came from the lowest point in society, the lowest part of society, the poor class of the society. It came from that level of society, and now it's reached the highest levels of society. You know, I'm sure there are some of the world bankers' sons and daughters are listening to, you know, what have you, Waka Flocka Flame or Gucci Mane or whatever they Flow Rider or whatever they prefer. But you know, they might listen to LP or A$AP Rock or, you know, Wu-Tang, you know. So I mean, it is what it is. But here's the thing, as a community, as a force to be reckoned with, hip-hop would be more effective if these two factions weren't so separated, divided, repulsed by each other. I mean, you know, we're all human beings. It's all a matter of different interpretations, you know, different tribes, different subgenres, and you know, at the root of it is people saying rhyming words over a beat. So I mean, you know, that's what makes us, that's what we have in common. So I would encourage all artists out there to open your mind and give some of these other artists a chance. You know, the gangster artists or the more street reality rap artists, learn to appreciate the poetic talent of somebody that's willing to put in weeks and weeks trying to come up with something that nobody's ever said before. And poets, you got to understand the climate in which some of these street artists came up in, and the way they look at things. And this might be an opportunity to teach. You know, sick people need medicine, healthy people don't need medicine. So if all of the real hip-hop artists only hang out with other real hip-hop artists and point the finger, oh, look at them over there, that's that, oh, that's whack, that's fake, and all talk amongst ourselves, that's not really helping the problem. It's not really helping the problem. See, some of us need to get over our fear of dealing with what is considered street culture, or our repulsion from street culture, because hip-hop is street culture. So therefore, you know, you can't separate the two. So, you know, these are your cousins. These are your brothers of the hip-hop world. So, you know, we shouldn't be exiling anybody from this. It's a matter of growth. It's a matter of perception, and it's a matter of adults and children being able to peacefully coexist. And you'll be surprised if you put your mind to reaching out to some of these artists, that they might actually not be the boogeyman or the villain or the ignorant person that you think they are. Because a lot of gangster or reality rap artists are very intelligent. They just see it as an opportunity to further their career or get on in the industry. And that's my piece.